tributes are pouring in for the 3 lives lost in that tragedy.
And shocking new developments in a deadly tragedy in the western suburbs. A teenage suspect now in custody accused of killing 3 people and wounding another in a home invasion in Bolingbrook.
Neighbors weren't surprised to hear about the deadly shooting. They've seen police called to the home before.
They were here back in the summer for the same family, some disturbance issues once.
I knew this was going to happen, actually. To tell you
really?
the truth. Yeah,
Why
I just had a feeling, just because it just always seemed shady to me.
Police confirmed that Montgomery was in a relationship with a 17-year-old victim, but there are still a lot of unanswered questions.
Why? That's what you'll never know.
Around 8:15 p.m. on March 5th, Bolingbrook police responded to a home in the 100 block of Lee Lane for reports of multiple people being shot. Upon arrival, they would find an adult male, an adult female, and 2 young girls suffering from gunshot wounds.
Yeah, that's right, guys. A horrible tragedy here. In fact, neighbors tell us the family originally from Rockford had only been living in this home less than 3 years. Neighbors also identifying the victims as a father and 2 of his daughters. Police say the suspect and one of those daughters, both of them 17 years old, had been dating.
Yeah, very nice people. Never had a problem. The kids would be playing outside during the summer.
Neighbors here stunned. Multiple family members shot, 3 of them killed.
Officers were able to immediately identify the suspect.
When things like this happen, it just, you question it. You know, like, why? Why did it happen? How did it happen? How do we prevent this from happening again?
Willie Pohl founded a violence prevention program in Bolingbrook called Focus. He lives just down the street.
It's a nice, safe community. It is. It's a place where you want to live, where you want to come out. It's very diverse out here, and so it's a nice place to live.
The victims were identified as 40-year-old Cortez Daniels and 17-year-old Samiya Shelton Tillman. Cortez Daniels' 9-year-old daughter, Sanai Daniels, and his 34-year-old fiancé were transported to a local hospital where 9-year-old Sanai Daniels sadly succumbed to her injuries. The 34-year-old woman remains in stable condition. A 3-year-old boy and a 14-year-old boy were also inside of the home during the time of the shooting, but were not injured. Roughly 2 hours later, a 17-year-old male was arrested for the shooting deaths of all 3 victims, with one being his 17-year-old girlfriend, Samiya Shelton Tillman. Police believe that he conducted the horrendous and premeditated act on his own.
Officers were able to immediately identify the suspect in the preliminary investigation, and he was quickly apprehended near his residence at approximately 10 p.m. last night.
17-year-old Byron Montgomery now faces several charges, including first-degree murder, home invasion, and aggravated battery. Police were called to the area just after 8:15 Sunday night. When officers arrived, they found 4 people shot inside.
Didn't sound like necessarily a gunshot, but might have been a hard impact or something. Didn't know what it was.
Police identified 2 of the victims as 40-year-old Cortez Daniels and 17-year-old Samiya Shelton Tillman. Police say the suspect and Shelton Tillman were in a relationship. Neighbors recalled seeing them together.
The teenage girl did have a boyfriend. They would walk hand to hand sometimes here, But I just say hi, that's all.
Authorities have not released the youngest shooting victim's name. 9-year-old Dylan says they rode the school bus together every day. You would definitely see her on the school bus or whatever.
We always talked and stuff. We always used to have snow fights and stuff outside.
During the day, detectives were seen with K-9 units combing the area for evidence. By nighttime, close friends laid flowers and balloons outside the family's home, honoring lives tragically taken away.
Neighbors in the area were devastated and shocked, as they say they aren't used to events such as this occurring in their normally quiet suburban neighborhood. Some neighbors weren't surprised at all, as they recalled witnessing police called to the home on previous occasions. A growing memorial began to form in front of the home, with friends, neighbors, and even strangers coming to pay their respect. Bolingbrook Mayor Mary Alexander Basta said in a statement the following: "The violence that occurred is something no one should ever have to endure or worry about. My deepest condolences go out to the family and friends of the victims, and my prayers are sent to the victims still in the hospital."
Those victims who lost their lives are being remembered by those who knew them and those who didn't. Complete strangers have been coming by all day long, dropping off balloons and candles and even teddy bears, adding to what has become a growing memorial here outside the home on Lee Lane. Yet still many questions unanswered in this case, including the motive. Now, 17-year-old Byron Montgomery appeared in Will County Court this morning, where he pleaded not guilty to killing 3 people, including his 17-year-old girlfriend, Samiya Shelton Tillman, 40-year-old Cortez Daniels, and the youngest victim, elementary school student, 9-year-old Sanai Daniels. Police say the 3, along with a 34-year-old woman, were shot inside the home on Lee Lane Sunday night. It remains unclear what triggered the shooting. CBS 2 spoke to some of Montgomery's neighbors Tuesday who know him and his family, describing the teen as respectful and very pleasant. Now, the tragedy itself, like we said, is now bringing many out to the home, where they are leaving flowers and prayers.
It pains me as a father to see a child taken and children to have lost their parents. I want to ask for healing. This is senseless. And there's a young man who has just destroyed his life.
We talked to the neighbor who lives next door.
Just seeing the number of ambulances on the street, I knew it was something really bad.
Longtime resident LaShawna Fisher drove by the neighborhood to get a glimpse and couldn't believe what happened in her normally quiet and safe community.
Very devastating, because I'm a long resident of Bolingbrook, so that's all I know is Bolingbrook. When something like this hit in Bolingbrook, it's just like hitting home. So it's just like family, but not family.
Neighbor Ryan Hedberg says he heard the shots last night.
Came home from dropping off my kids, hanging out inside, and heard 2 gunshots. There was apparently more, but it's what we heard when we were sitting inside.
Belinda Taylor's son knows one of the surviving boys inside the home, and she says she was told he and his brother were playing video games online when shots rang out downstairs.
I was just shocked, devastated, because my heart goes out to the son, because we know him, and I work at the high school, so I see him all the time, and so seeing him every day like that, it just really just broke my heart.
It remains unclear as to exactly what triggered the shooting. Byron Montgomery is charged with 9 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count each of attempted first-degree murder, home invasion, aggravated battery with a firearm, and aggravated unlawful use of a weapon. His bail has been set at $20 million. The case remains ongoing.